Hi, fellow traders. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I had a really fun-filled, busy weekend. I mean, I was so tired this morning I couldn't even get out of bed. It's a long drive to Pennsylvania, a long drive back, but the time that we have with our family is just it's amazing. That's why I do this. That's why I trade so I can have the freedom that whenever our family's getting together, we can go. That there's nothing holding me back. But a lot of fun. So I didn't get to recap the end of last week. We're going to take care of that today, and then we're going to talk about today. But before I get into that, I want to invite you guys to come join me on this trading roller coaster. If you have a small account, or even if you have a fully funded account and you just can't find consistency, I'm showing you how to do it every day. Now, consistency doesn't mean you don't lose. You're going to take losses. And we'll talk a little bit about that too, as the why we incur losses. But that's just part of it. The key is how you manage them and how you move on from them. That's what the deal is. So you guys have, if you really want to know and you don't want any BS, come and join me. I do it live every day right alongside of you. You actually see what I do. You don't have to listen to me tell you or whatever. You really get to see most of what I do. But I think, that's really the best way to learn. Now, I actually rode on this roller coaster this weekend. I didn't realize that Hershey Park had all these awesome roller coasters. Every year we would go to Hershey, the Chocolate World, but the park isn't open because the event that we go there for was still kind of toward the end of winter. As a matter of fact, when we drove up this past March, it was still snowing up there. But first time we got to go in the park, man, it's awesome. And they've got like 20 roller coasters. They're actually building another one. So I can't wait to go back next year because I'm going to hit every last one of them. But being on those roller coasters, it made me think about trading. I'm like, this is just like trading. You wait in these lines. It takes a while for you to get there. And when you get on this roller coaster, you have these ups and downs, twists and turns, and then you start to get into the groove. And, by the end of the ride, it's exhilarating and you're ready to get on and go again. And go again and go again. And the more you do it, the more you roll with the twists and turns, the dips and the loops. You know how to roll with them. You got your rhythm. And, that's how we become consistent in trading. So come join us if you really want to learn what it's about. No BS. It's all real world. Sometimes it gets a little raw, but that's life. That's the real deal. So what we're going to do is I'm going to recap the end of last week, Friday's trades, recap the week, and then we'll get into what we're doing starting this week. All right, so the first trade was on DOCU. This was a complete disaster. There was absolutely no reason for me to take this trade. It never set up. Okay, I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but I jumped in early. Here's a 5-minute opening range low. There should never have been a trade until it broke this level. For some reason, I got in and then turned around and got stopped out. So, but that wasn't what did it. I didn't have a hard stop in because I never put a hard stop in, on the first candle, because I don't want it to pop up and hit it and then come back down and all of that. So I always wait until I get established in the trade, then I'll put in a hard stop. Well, this thing took off. Before I knew it, I was over a point down on this trade. Okay, I went from being like 30 cents down to well over a point in a matter of seconds. And then I was trying to get out and it wouldn't let me out. It's like it was rejecting my order. And, finally after 3 or 4 times, I was able to get out, but ended up with a $400 loss. It just blew through where I was going to stop. And I was already down over a point when I was trying to get out. So it wasn't that my orders were rejecting that caused me a big loss. I was already at a big loss when I was trying to get out. So I don't know if the system was overloaded with people like me who just got blew up and was trying to get out. That's probably the case. Because once that happened, I think everybody was trying to get out. So, it wouldn't surprise me that that's what happened. But this was just a mistake. There's no two ways about it. It was just a huge mistake. This stock never really set up for me. Never really set up. If you look at, let's see. Yeah, that was it. So this was the next trade. This was a trend continuation trade. This is what saved the day for me. And it seems like, and I can't say that the opening range trades didn't work. It's the fact that I didn't execute it right. So I can't blame it on the strategy. It's the person that executed a strategy that never did set up. So I can't blame that. But I got on this trend continuation, and who knew that this was going to be a really solid, trend continuation trade. And, I got in, nice moves up, really, really solid. And I ended up getting stopped out, after we had hit the road. I was on the road when we got stopped out here. So what I did, you got to excuse my laptop. I had to finish putting this together on my laptop. And we got there just before 12 o'clock so I could print this out. But my laptop has a different resolution, so these orders are going to be really small. But these already you saw here. These are the same orders that you see here. This one is just showing where my stop got hit over here. So this is where we got stopped out. And you can see it just kind of messed around until the close. There's really no more trades in it, unless you were just trying to scalp a little bit. But, I don't do that. But I was actually on the highway when I got stopped out of this. But just wanted to share that with you. So, ended the day only $27.71 in the red. Not bad considering I got blown up out of the gate. Now, if you're unable to hold, if you're the type person that you can't deal with this, you can't deal with getting hit. Now, I was pissed. Okay, no doubt about it. If you were in the room, I was pissed. But if you're unable to put this behind you and understand that this is a risk that we take, and if we can't accept it, then we need to stop trading until we can, work it out. So, it's one of those deals where there was just nothing we could do. We didn't see this happening. We can't predict it. And even if I had a hard stop in, who's to say it didn't blow through it? Because of how it did. This thing ran up so fast till it wasn't funny. So I was fortunate that I kept my head in the game, caught a nice trade on this, and somewhat bailed me out for the day. So for the week, really, really nice week. I was hoping to, have over 1,500 for the week, but, Friday just didn't cooperate. But ended up with 14,1864, so I was close. You know, I honestly thought I was at 1500, but you know, just it's close enough. You know, I'm not gonna complain about it, but that puts me at 23,030 for the quarter. You know, year to date, and not the quarter, but for the first 2 quarters. My goal is to be at 25 grand by the end of the second quarter. If we're there, that I would have hit my goal. I'm not. I guess lately, I'm so close. Once I crossed that 20 mark, I've been so close. I've been focusing on it so much, and that might have messed me up. You know, I always. This is why you don't want to focus on monetary goals and keep track of this stuff, because it can cause you to make bad decisions sometimes. And I am trying my best to just keep this out the back of my mind. But if I'm sharing this, and I want to share with you the progress that you can make, you know, if you trade the right way, you know, if you are disciplined and you're not chasing garbage and you're taking your time, these are the things that can happen for you. But we'll elaborate more on that here, because today was a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So here's the equity curve. We're still headed in the right direction. Thankfully, no more blips. But if history is going to repeat itself, it's about time for another red week. I'm not speaking it into existence, but just looking at the historical thing. So, and I'm hoping that me wanting to get to this goal by the end of the quarter is not going to mess me up. So we shall see. That's all I can say. You know, we shall see. All right, so this week I am starting with the really small account, or the micro account, less than $1,000. It's a tick over $800. Well, it was after today. I mean, at this morning, it was a tick over $800. But what I wanted to show you on this, I will be streaming that platform live in the morning. That's what we're going to be focused on in the morning. Like I said, I still will be trading the other small account, the one that we start at $5,000 every month. I'm still going to be trading it. Like I said, I'm not mixing the two. I'm trying to get to 25 by the end of this quarter, and it would really be great if I can get to 50 by the end of the year. But I'm still trading it. I may not take as many trades because the focus is going to be on the small account. If days like today happen where I've got that time to get in a trade, then I will take it. Or I may have to wait until the secondary trade, or I may have to wait till earnings. But whatever the case is, I'm not going to stop trading that account. But because I do have a group of traders that do follow me, that are trading similar accounts, similar money. Some have a fully funded account, but they're only trading with the $5,000 every month. They're starting over and trading with that and building it up. And they're just keeping up with it that way because they're learning and they don't want to expose their whole account to the market just yet. They haven't got to that point. So I'm still working with them, but they're at a point where they don't need me as much. You know, they've grown to that point. Basically, they're just comparing what they do to what I do. You know, so, you know, it works for them. So I don't really have a problem with it. But what you're going to see, the black in the morning, the this is going to be all black. The dark charts, that's going to be the smaller account. That's the one you're going to start to see. That's where you're going to see these trades. In the regular account that I would trade, the other small account, you're going to see the blue. So these are the trades that we'll be taking, and you'll see them as they happen. You know, I'll be telling you what I'm looking for. You'll see them as they happen. Same as the small account, the micro account. I'm calling it a micro account. So you'll see those. And if I ever have too many trades to where I can't show them all, then I know I've overtraded and I need to go into trader rehab. But you should be able to see everything that I do. And the swing trades, you know, I will be covering them, you know, as well. The only one I'm in is Disney, and we talked about that early this morning. So you guys will still see everything I do. This is a focus on you guys that really need the guidance. You know, this is a critical point. All right, so let's take a look at what we did today. All right, so let's clear the elephant out of the room first. This is a PRVB. This was the stock we had on watch for our small account, our micro account. This is the one that we had on watch. This is the one I was really looking for. Now, it could, like I said, it could go either way. You know, we've seen these that gap up on this good news and they end up selling back off. What I liked about this is that I had shares to short and there was no margin restriction. This was at pre-market. Going into the open, I'm like, this is fine. It has a 24 million share float. That's not, I like over 50, but you know, 24, 25 is doable. I can deal with that. So we're waiting for this to set up. The market opens, we put in our first candle. I'm waiting for this to set up. Okay? Waiting for this to set up. And right before this thing breaks the 5-minute opening range high, it goes on margin restriction. And then it halts. And then it rips. And I'm like, really? You know, here's something that was really setting up good. A nice solid setup. It wasn't really volatile. It was smooth price action. And I thought we could, you know, get a decent move on this. And then all of a sudden, hell breaks loose. We go on margin restriction. And all of a sudden, I can't even trade this with 100 shares. Now, yeah, I could have gone in with 50 shares and rolled this up. But who knew what the hell it was going to do? You have no idea. And I'm not chasing it. This traded like these $3 low float, you know, 3 million share float stocks that just goes crazy. I don't trade that. I stay away from it. So once this thing started trading this way, I walked away from it. But that's one of the rules that you're going to see me have. If a stock, when I look it up, if it's on margin restriction, I'm not trading it. Because what triggers margin restriction, I know for sure, trader, I don't know about anybody else. But what triggers it is the volatility and how easy it's going to be for you to lose your whole account if you're on the wrong side of these trades. Because they had shares to short, you may have had people shorting it because here we put in a lower low right here, and they might have shorted it out of the gate, and then they got promptly blown up. Is what happened to them. Now they restricted margins, so you know, hey, if you had a couple $1,000 and you were able to get 500 shares of this, if this thing went against you 4 or 5 points really quick, you could lose your whole account and then some. So in a sense, margin restriction is there to protect newbies from themselves. But then it gets really frustrating when you're on the right side of things and you either can't take the trade or you can only take a partial position. And whereas if you took a full position, you can make a ton of money. But I pointed this out because this is one of the issues that you're going to deal with, that we're going to deal with trading this account. And it's real. And you can have this account and you could be watching people trade all of their stuff, and you're just going to get more and more frustrated. So that's another big reason why I'm in here with you, because I couldn't trade this. I didn't have the account. Plus, I stay the hell away from these. These are the ones that I just walk away from. So just wanted to share that with you real quick. So here's the trade I took on Roku. Roku set up, right on time. While I was waiting for the setup for the micro account, this setup, this was on our watch list as well, because I'm going to share with you the watch list for both accounts. And, this was a watch list. It set up. I know I had to wait for it to get below all of this. I wasn't going to short it above it. I waited for us to get below it. I did it and just held on to it. I knew I was going to have to hold through a pullback at some point, but I needed to get in this and set my technicals. My technical level was the opening range the opening range low, and I was just going to let it work. And sure enough, it ended up taking out all of my targets. Really, really nice moves on this. So we pull back, we reject the VWAP, and so in my infinite wisdom, I decided to add back because I'm looking for this to continue to pull back or to sell off, sell through here, and then keep going. It didn't do that. It tried. It took me out. Okay, I could not hold this and take this thing, so negative that I ate up this profit. I guess I could have, but it never would have hit my target. My first target was 98.50. It never would have come down and hit my target. So either way, I would have been stopped out of this. And here I got stopped out. And then later on in the day, I waited for it to come on down, and I waited for it to lose the VWAP and make a new low. That's where I got in. And right here, we ran into some support out of nowhere. Seemingly out of nowhere, we ran into some support. It bounced, ended up stopping me out. So I gave back some of these big time profits that I made here. And had this thing worked, we could have had a killer day. A killer day. Still ended up with $300 profit, but could have easily been a $500 day, $600 day had, at least some of this worked out. But again, that's what trading is all about. It's what we have to deal with in this trading world. There's nothing we can do about it. But here's the thing. There's only two ways to make money. So we have to pick a way. The way we pick is based on the technicals. Because there's two ways we can make money in this. We can, if we think it's going to go up, we're going to buy low and sell high. If we think it's going to go lower, we're going to sell short and look to buy it back lower so we can make money. The only way we're going to make the only way the stock's going to go in our direction is if enough people or somebody that has enough clout to move the market has the same conviction we have and wants to move in that direction. That's the only way that we're going to be winners. We are fully dependent on others to make us a winner. So they're going to have to, and if you think about that, now think about if we get in short and we want this, like right here, I got short and I want this to continue to sell off. Okay, I'm going to have to rely on people who, for some odd reason, thought they were going to go long. I need them to sell their position. And I also need other people to come in and sell this short at a worse price than I got in. So if I sell short here, I'm going to be looking for somebody to sell short around here. I'm going to look for people to continue to sell this. To sell it. Whether they're selling short or whether they're selling out of a long position that they're losing on. Whatever the case is, for me to make money, these people are going to have to either continue to lose more money or buy or sell this short at a lower price, at a worse price than me. That's what we're dependent on. And if it doesn't happen, we're not going to make money. And there's no way we can predict that. I mean, I try to look at the charts. I try to get in the mind of what would a big time trader with money do. But unless you're sitting there next to the guy, you're not going to know. And we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that these guys can move the market whenever they want to, as long as they have enough clout. And I've shown you on level 2 throughout the day when we're looking at trades or we're in trades, I've shown you where people were fighting against each other, where big traders were fighting against each other. You have one that was trying to move the market up. You have one that was trying to move it down. And all we can do is sit back and watch these guys fight and then try to pick a winner. That's the only way we were going to make any money out of that. But, it's really, really interesting. So for us to get in a trade, we're using technical analysis. And technical analysis is something that we use to help us connect the historical movements of a particular stock with the current movements so that we can kind of predict with some degree of, not so much some degree of certainty, but enough to where we have conviction that we feel that the stock's going to go one way or the other. Okay? Now, we can't live and die off that certainty or that belief. We can't live and die off of that because we know what can move the market. We know that even though the technicals tell us that this is the setup and this is where to get in and this is where to take profit, it doesn't mean that's going to happen. Case in point, this trade right here, there was no reason, there was nothing on the chart that said this thing should bounce here. All it was, nobody was willing to sell it anymore. Everybody that was selling over here doesn't want to sell anymore. They probably are already out. They're taking their profit. They're done. And it just gets bid up. And so we guys that were looking to sell short, not happening for us. But there was nothing to tell us. Technically, this thing should sell off all the way down to the next logical support. It wasn't here. But that's where it bounced. So you don't know, where that came from. You'll never know unless you're sitting next to the guy that started buying this thing up. So that was Roku today, 303.86. So in the small account, we took 2 trades, and we had this thing had a big sell-off. Okay, this was a reversal attempt because this wasn't on our watch. This was a huge parabolic move down, bouncing off the 20. You can't get a more perfect entry than this with 2 levels of support up under it. And we bounced, but you can see, and I knew this when we got in, that I was taking a little risk. This added an incurred risk to this trade, that the 9 was selling off so hard. And a lot of times this is where we would take profit first, and then we would look for the next move up. But this didn't work out. This was a bad situation here, and it ended up selling off. It bounced, and then we rejected off the 9 here. Here's where I should have taken this off and shorted this thing, but I was at lunch. I wasn't going to log in and start flip-flopping around. I just wasn't going to do it. I had my stop in. It was up under the 20, and sure enough, when I got back, we stopped out, and then we went short here. This was logical. The RSI was over 30. There was room down, and it was a logical entry, almost perfect. But it did not go. It bounced, and then it sold off. It eventually made the move that we were looking for, and this would have put us back in the green on the day. But we got shook out. Now, the only way that these other traders, these big guys, are going to make money is to get people to take the opposite sides of the trades, that they want to take. So if they wanted to sell this short at a higher price, they're going to throw a couple dollars in and run this up, and they're going to stop out all of us. Okay, they're going to stop out all of us. So we're going to be buying to cover their sell orders. So they're selling short as we buying to cover. So money's flowing out of our account to their account, and it's just going to get better. They're really good at setting us up, setting traps. And they set up a beautiful one. Because even if I was in my main account or my, the other small account where I have a little bit more money, I still would have stopped out here because it closed above this level and the 20. And then we made a new high relative to this bar closing, or candle closing. So I would have taken it off anyway. So either way, I would have been stopped out of this. I have to stick to a $50 loss. If I've got 2 trades and I've lost $50 on this, I got to shut it down for the day. I can't go in and take another $25, $30. I don't want to lose all of that. So risking $50 today and really on a trade that should have worked here. This was more risk than this trade, a lot more risk than this trade, because we had the 9 so close. But had we hit the 9 here and started to show weakness, I would have taken it off, and I would have risked 50 cents for like 35, 40 cent move, which is not bad. Not bad risk reward. You got to remember what account size we're in, how we're limited, and we have to make sure that we take profits where we can take them, that we are trading stocks that are within the parameters that we can manage with our account size. Trading the wrong stocks will mess you up. there were some people that got on the wrong side of PRVB today. And, you know, I hate to say it, they lost every penny in their account. They wiped themselves out the very first day. You know, when I said this thing is on margin restriction, we need to stay the hell away. But, you know, sometimes you're going to learn the hard way. And that's unfortunate. But, you know, I don't want you guys to learn the hard way. I want you to trade stocks that you can manage your losses in, because we're going to have losses. There's no two ways about it. It's going to happen. And, you know, we've got to go from there. We've got to work ourselves from there. Accept those losses and make sure that we keep our head right, our focus is right, and we come back tomorrow and we're going to do this all over again. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for me today. You know, okay start to the month, to Monday. Should have been really, really good, but I'll take it. You know, I'll take today, and we'll come back tomorrow. I'll have a little bit more rest, and I'll be a little bit happier. So you guys, you know, don't forget, come join us. If you want to really learn how to do this, come join us. I'm here. I'm always willing to talk to you, answer questions, and help you through anything that you need help through. So you guys take it easy. Have a great night, and I will see you in the morning.